up, everybody? Justin here to do another episode of The List. The List is a show where I talk about topics that I want to discuss and get my thoughts out about these topics, get them off my chest and my feelings off my chest about these topics. Most of my episodes of The List, basically all of them, have been about pro wrestling. That's what my YouTube channel is. 90% of my videos are wrestling topics and wrestling videos, predictions, reviews, and other videos. Sports, countdown videos, stuff like that. Sometimes if something else in entertainment or sports happens, I might do an episode of The List about entertainment or sports sometimes. But this episode of The List is episode number 17. Episode 17. I didn't plan on doing an episode of The List tonight. I didn't want to do a show tonight, but I found out about some Impact Wrestling spoilers. They did tapings tonight. I believe this was the first night of the tapings under the new ownership, under the new bookers, under the new creative team that Impact Wrestling has. Dutch Mantel's the head of creative. Jeff Jarrett is basically running the entire company, almost. At least the wrestling side of it, the TV product, and the president of Anthem, he's running Impact Wrestling as a president. So this is like new, this is really new, this is like a new era, a new time in Impact Wrestling. They're hitting the reset button, which they should have hit the reset button like 3-4 years ago, to be honest. But they're trying to start over. Impact Wrestling has a new logo. It looks better than the old one, where they had a giant owl bird spreading his wings above the letters Impact Wrestling. That was stupid. So they got a new logo. They got a new look to the show. What I can see from these pictures, the ring is the same setup, but the outside of the ring, I'll talk about the announcers in a little bit. I'm going to give a spoiler out here. Next week's Impact Wrestling, it was taped tonight. It airs next Thursday on Pop TV. I will be watching it and live tweeting it at WWE NXT guys. Shout out to my Twitter account there. If you don't follow me, go follow me there. I live tweet Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT, Impact Wrestling, and pay-per-views every month. So, if you don't want to know the spoilers of tonight's Impact Wrestling tapings, if you don't want to know who was in the main event and became the new TNA World, or not TNA, I don't want to say TNA ever again. Impact Wrestling. If you don't want to know who became the new Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion, well, you have 5 seconds to mute this video or turn off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio is the new Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. There was some controversy that happened after the main event match. It was Lashley defending against Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio is walked out. He left the stage holding the world title up, but there is controversy. So maybe after next week's episode, we'll find out who the real world champion is and what they're going to do with the world title. Maybe they'll strip. Maybe at tomorrow night's tapings. I'm not going to read about tomorrow night's tapings, but tonight's tapings, Alberto Del Rio made his Impact Wrestling debut. I saw a picture on Twitter that the Impact Wrestling president actually posted of the tapings. It was Del Rio in the ring standing next to Jeff Jarrett. So right there, that picture, I saw it and I thought, well, Del Rio's a part of Impact Wrestling now. Yes, he's in his 40s. I believe, but who cares? The guy's in great shape. The guy can still go. The guy can still work. Alberto Del Rio, in my opinion, still has it. And Del Rio sent out a pretty funny tweet on Twitter to Impact Wrestling, and the president, he wrote, hashtag this is my house, because his soon-to-be wife, Paige, says that this is my house. That's pretty funny. So, Del Rio's the new Impact Wrestling World Champion, but it's under controversy. Maybe he'll be stripped of the world title in a week or 2 weeks. I don't know. They could strip him and they can make a tournament to crown a new Impact Wrestling World Champion. So, anyways, breaking news on this episode of The List. Alberto Del Rio, the new Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion for now. It was under controversy. He could be stripped in the future. I'm going to read you what happened at tonight's tapings. Former WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio, or Alberto El Patron, a.k.a. Alberto Del Rio, made his Impact Wrestling debut at tonight's tapings in Orlando. He later defeated Bobby Lashley to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Their match will air as the main event next Thursday on Pop TV. And below are some photos and spoilers from the match from a Twitter user that I guess was at the show and took all these pictures. He posted all these pictures with reaction. He wrote, two referees in the match took 2 ref bumps and probably a dusty finish. Stay tuned. The next tweet he wrote, Hebner and Brian Stifler were fighting over who the champion is. Earl came out to settle this. And when I said Hebner, I meant his son. He has a son, does Earl. That's a ref in Impact. So they're fighting over who's the world champion. So that's controversy right there. Del Rio may not end up being the world champion in a couple weeks or in a month. And here's another update. The guy says Bruce Pritchard and other Impact officials come out to the ring to try to figure this out. Who won? Who's really the world champion? Last picture, last update. Alberto is leaving with the belt. This Twitter user said. I'll give the guy a shout out. His name is on Twitter at Mr. Jacob Cornhead. Mr. Jacob C. Capital C-O-H-E-N. That's his Twitter handle. Mr. Jacob, capital H-O, capital, not H. Mr. Jacob, capital C-O-H-E-N. That's his Twitter handle. So there it is. Alberto Del Rio, the new World Heavyweight Champion for now. Is it a good idea? Do I think it's a good idea? Is this Impact Wrestling building new stars? No. But I'm interested. And I'm excited where this is going to go. I mean, Del Rio is a talented guy. He's in great shape. He still at least has 5 years left in his prime. The guy's a great worker. I don't got a problem with him winning the world title. So, whatever. Creative. They want to give Del Rio the world heavyweight title to kick off this new era, this restart of Impact Wrestling. Once again, fans, hardcore Impact Wrestling, TNA fans, hardcore fans of them are probably going to be really pissed off and angry and rant. Well, I'm not going to rant about it because I really am not upset. I'm not surprised by it. I'm not shocked by it that they brought in a former WWE star. I mean, why wouldn't they? They no longer have Michael Bennett, Drew Galloway, Broken Hardys are gone, so they got to bring in somebody that's a big name that can draw some eyeballs to their product. Del Rio is not the most liked wrestler. He never was in WWE. He was pretty damn hated by a lot of fans I knew. Nobody liked Del Rio, and they were sick and tired of seeing him on TV. But, again, he's still a big name in wrestling. He's not a huge name, but he's still a big name. Impact Wrestling signed him. I don't blame them. But I have no clue where they're going in the future with building their company and who's going to be the top stars fighting over the world title. I don't have a clue where they're going. I will continue to watch them and support them every week despite my anger and hatred and dislike for Josh Matthews. I will continue to support Impact Wrestling. I'm a fan of theirs. I'm a fan of the talent. I want to support the wrestlers and the women and the talent. Jeremy Borash is cool. I see in this Twitter picture of this guy's picture he posted on Twitter, I see a picture of Jeremy Borash at the announcer's table. So there's a spoiler. He's probably going to be announcing along with the Pope. And yes, I do see stupid douchebag dickhead Josh Matthews is also sitting at the announcer's table with JB and I believe the Pope. Can't really see the Pope sitting at the table because the cameraman is blocking him. So maybe the Pope is in there. Maybe Don West returned. I don't know. Maybe Mike Tenay's there. Who knows? Anyways, breaking news on this episode of The List. Spoiler, Alberto Del Rio, for now, is the new Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion at tonight's tapings in Orlando. Hope you enjoyed this episode of The List. Follow me on Twitter. Like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. Bye for now.